Hi, this is Beth Azor, and this is my podcast, I Own a Shopping Center, Now What? So I had a call this week with someone that wanted to, quote unquote, pick my brain about a property that they purchased for their business. It's a 2-story, 10,000 square foot building, 5,000 on each level. This person was a doctor, and he was going to be relocating his office to this new building on the first floor. And they were calling to get my input on how best to fill the second floor. In the discussion, they shared with me that they are renovating the building at a tune of $2.5 million. And the second floor was residential, and they are renovating. They gutted the residential, and they're renovating the second floor to match the first floor, which are their doctor's offices, because they're presuming they're going to find another doctor to lease the second floor, because they think that they will have great synergies with referrals of business back and forth. That all sounds great. Until they told me that for the property, there is only 6 parking spaces, and this business, the person I'm speaking to, will be using all 6 parking spaces. So I said, had you considered at all going on the second floor? And they said, no. And then I said, well, let me ask you this. Why are you building a second floor? I thought at first they were doing a ground up development. And they said, no, it was an existing building, residential on the second floor, a business on the first floor. I said, okay, I understand. So do you need to lease the second floor for the real estate to work? Is it necessary? And they said, yes, it's necessary to lease the second floor for the real estate to work. So I said, at that point, it seems like the business is driving the real estate decisions, and instead the real estate should be driving the business decisions. The business should go on the second floor, and at the very least, the business should split the parking with the first floor. The first floor and the second floor should share 3 and 3, and I don't think that's even enough to lease 5,000 square feet. I asked if there was any areas around that they could rent a neighboring parking lot to rent spaces, and they said no. So I also said, in commercial real estate, and this is true for shopping center owners, office building owners, we typically do not build spec, invest, $1.5 million into a spec space without a signed lease. So I advised them to stop constructing the second floor until they have a signed lease and a tenant, because I think it's going to be highly likely that they find another doctor to take 5,000 square feet on the second floor without any parking. Possibly they could find someone to take the first floor, but I still think the parking is going to be a huge issue. I asked if they had any advisor that gave them input as to projections on the rental rates and, how fast they could lease the space and income, etc. And I didn't really get a clear answer on that. I advised them to stop constructing on the second floor, reconsider moving the business to the second floor, certainly reconsider splitting the parking spaces or trying everything in their power to find more parking spaces. On the call, they said maybe they should reconsider keeping the second floor residential because they had no question about leasing the second floor to a resi tenant. So very interesting call, and just some tidbits of information for those of you that own shopping centers. Parking is crucially important, as we've spoken about multiple times in the past. That's why when you see elbow space with 18 feet of frontage and it's a 5,000 square foot space and there's no parking in front of it, there's 4 handicap spots. There's no visibility and exposure, right? No frontage and no parking. So parking is a huge deal. Or sometimes you'll see an end cap that's got great visibility, but no parking. So parking is crucial. And then it's never, never, never a good idea to build out space on the come, to build out what you want. You've got to get a signed lease first and then invest the money and spend on the build out. So I know this was not shopping center related. However, I think there were some good tips in here and a good case study of some things not to do. If you own real estate and you own a business, you really need to have two hats. And which is the hat? Of course, the business will benefit by being on the first floor and by taking 6 parking spaces. But if that means the second floor never gets leased and you need the second floor's income to pay the mortgage on the building and all of the construction costs you just invested, then you need to put on your real estate hat and make a different decision. Hope this helps. Thought it was a good story to share. If you guys like the podcast, please like it, comment, share it, subscribe, all that jazz. And as the holidays are getting closer, if you are a female and would like to join us in March at the Women Investor Summit in Fort Lauderdale, it's a life-changing event. Most of my participants and guests say to me. So if you're a female, sign up. If you are a male and have a female partner, sign up for her. Give her a holiday gift. Send her. It's phenomenal. I interview about 8 women that invest in all different asset classes. This year we have a billionaire. We have someone that has a few small multifamily units to a billionaire. And then the breakouts are amazing. Underwriting, cost seg, accounting and bookkeeping firms, legal documents, you name it. There's so many breakouts they can't pick. And then a bus tour going around all of my assets, befores and afters, how I raised the money, how the deals are doing. That bus tour is for the VIPs. So you can find the link on bethazor.com and would love to see you all, if you have the right plumbing, at my Female Women's Investor Summit. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Hey, listeners of I Own a Shopping Center, Now What? We have done some research and we have found out that 92% of the listeners are men in the ages of 50 to 70. So what I wanted to do is shout out to all of you. Thank you for listening. But I wanted to shout out to all of you. If you have a wife or a sister or a daughter, I have a conference every year in March called the Women's Real Estate Investment Summit. There are 250 women that attend, and probably 75% of them are investors in all kinds of different asset classes. We've had women that are fix and flippers, women that have invested in storage, hospitality, student housing, of course, retail, and you name it, senior living, multiple different asset classes, car wash funds. And the women in the room, what I do is I interview women that are investors, and then those women go into breakout rooms and do like a deep dive on how they underwrite their deals, multifamily, etc. And a lot of the women in the room have started investing with each other, which is great, which is helping my goal and mission of getting more women to invest in commercial real estate. But if you have a wife, a daughter, a sister, a mother, that maybe you want them to learn a little bit more about the industry, or maybe they're running your properties with you, have them come. It's March 4th through the 6th. We opened registration last week. We've already sold over 50% of the tickets. I highly predict that we will be sold out by year end. Maybe this would be a great holiday present for the woman in your life. So think about it. You can find out all of the information on bethazor.com. Just scroll down to the summit and you can read all about it there. It is life-changing for the women who attend. At least that's what all the testimonials tell me. And this will be our 6th year. So we've really honed it in and figured it out. So would love to see the ladies in your lives come and meet me and talk about real estate investing. Ciao.